And his club record scoring streak now 12 straight games. Wings beat Los Angeles 8-5. Started as if it would be a blowout. John Cutbush, he'll take the shot here. Norman Piper's in front and tips it home. It's 1-0 Wings. Next up, Jeff Bourne picks his spot. It'll be his first of 3. Bullseye, 2-0. Now, this is Per Rundfed with the ball. He finds Terry Nickel, and it's going to be 3-0 Wings. But hold on, L.A. comes back to lead 5-4 in the fourth quarter before Wichita will nail it down with 4 unanswered goals. Bourne, Andy Chapman, Bourne again, and Omar Gomez. Final is 8-5. Baltimore will be in town next Friday. Elsewhere in the Major Indoor Soccer League, St. Louis remains a game ahead of the Wings, beating Chicago. Tim Walters had a hat trick. 4 goals for Buffalo's Mike Lashev as the Stallions stampede New York. Cleveland gets a pair from Keith Furphy, and Pittsburgh and Golden Bay have a late start. Baltimore will be out at first place.
State of Oklahoma for 3.5 quarters today. But with the game on the line, the Wings had enough to beat the Los Angeles Lasers 8-5. The Wings broke out to an early advantage when Norman Piper was in the right place at the right time just 2.5 minutes into the opening period. At the end of the first quarter, Jeff Bourne scored his 30th goal of the year, and for the Jet, it kept alive a streak which Bourne has lit the lamp in 12 consecutive games. Terry Nickel made it 3-0 in the second quarter, the assist going to Per Rundfed. Then in the third quarter, Don Tobin cuts the lead in half to 3-2 with the first of his 2 tallies. And then a few minutes later, Per Rundfed gave Wichita a 2-goal margin, again by blasting home a pass from Omar Gomez. But the Lasers then scored 3 straight times to take the lead. Don Tobin with the second of the game and the 24th of the season for him. He starts the rally, and Clive Griffiths, or make that Clive Charles, he ends it to give Los Angeles a 5-4 lead 3 minutes into the final quarter. Then on, Wichita controls the action. Jeff Bourne ties the score, his second of the game. The assist going to Gomez, his 100th point in a Wings uniform. Moments later, Andy Chapman takes a pass from Jurgen Christensen, the Magic Man's second of the night. The goal by Andy gave the Wings a 6-5 lead. Rest of the game belonged to Bourne and Gomez. Jeff scored his 3rd of the day for the hat trick, his 3rd of the year. Gomez took a pass from Bourne to make it 8-5. And even though the Wings didn't play as well as they can, Roy Turner's not complaining about the victory.
Well, I thought it was probably one of our flatter performances of the year, except the last 10 minutes. And while I'm very happy with the results, I'm not very happy with the way it played. But when you think about last Thursday night, we played well and lose a game. Today we didn't play well and won a game. And I've got to congratulate the guys. Although they were flat, they kept on working, and it was work that got us back in the game and eventually put them away.
Now, elsewhere in the Major Indoor Soccer League today, Tim Walters scored 3 goals to lead the Steamers to a 7-3 victory over the Chicago Sting at the Checker Dome in St. Louis. What a humdinger out in San Diego. Baltimore and San Diego, 2 teams in the lead in their respective divisions, tied for the lead at 6-6 right now, that game in overtime. Steve Jungle scored 4 goals in a losing cause as Pittsburgh downed the Earthquake in Golden Bay 7-6 in overtime. Buffalo doubled the score of the New York Arrows 10-5, and Cleveland clobbered the Memphis Americans at the Richfield Coliseum 7-4. The Wichita Wings will entertain the Kansas City Comets this Wednesday night at the Kansas Coliseum. This is a makeup date for the game last month that was snowed out.
Put on a clinic out there tonight. The Wings picked up some ground in the West tonight, upending the Comets of Kansas City 9-1 to move 3.5 games behind front-running San Diego. Now, the Wings put the first notch on the scoreboard with just over 9 minutes to play in the first period. Per Rundfed delivers a long pass downfield to Andy Chapman, who knocks in his 38th goal of the year. 1-0 Wichita. 6 minutes later, it's Omar Gomez with the score, thanks to Jurgen Christensen's 50 assists on the year, and a little help from a Comets defender to push the Wings on top by 2. Second period, the Wings open up a 3-goal lead as John Cutbush breaks open on a Greg Willen feed, and Wichita is on a roll, leading by 3 at the half. Third period, Andy Chapman connects on his 2nd goal on the night and 39th of the year as the Wings go out in front by 4. Less than 3 minutes later, Per Rundfed gets in on the scoring act, taking a pass from Gomez to pull Wichita on top of Kansas City 5-zip. Fourth period, the Coliseum roof about fell in as Gomez collects his 100th career goal. The rest is history as Wichita overpowers the Comets 9-1.
Well, I think everything worked tonight, Dave. Everything clicked, and Mike was obviously what he was in the nets. And when you combine like that, we're a very tough team to beat. And we waited a long time to blow somebody out, but thank goodness he came this time of the year.
Well, Mike, superb effort out there tonight. I thought you had the shutout there for a while.
Well, it was always going to be.
you could never count on it, even though there's only a couple of minutes left. You know they're going to have a few shots. And the one that went in was I was screening and I didn't even see it. In fact, it saw it. Somebody had to tell me they'd scored a goal because I didn't know. It flew in. But that's the main thing of the evening was the performance by the boys. Absolutely superb. It was a great performance in every department, and the result showed that 9-1 against Kansas City is a great result.
Well, other games around the major indoor soccer league, Golden Bay over New York tonight. That final 7-6, and Chicago knocks off Buffalo 6-1.
Aren't that many head-to-head meetings with the teams you're trying to catch left, so
trying to move up that ladder.
Exactly, and they do win a big one tonight. Quite a night out at the Kansas Coliseum as the Wings do seize the opportunity, roll the Kansas City Comets, and move that much more into the picture in the MISL's Western Division. 9-1 Wings in a rout. They're now just a game behind second place Kansas City and a half game behind third place St. Louis. Lots of heroes out there tonight for the Wings. Let's take a look. Andy Chapman would have the hat trick. He now has 40 goals on this season, a new team record. That one makes it 1-0 Wings early on. Wings again on the attack, still in the first period, and you know it's your night when you start getting these. Omar Gomez gets credit for the goal because he's the last Wing to touch it. Greg Mikowski, the Comets, actually did the honors, but it counts 2-0 Wings, and John Cutbush gets into the act with a nice running right footer. Jeff Bourne also scored in his 13th straight game tonight. Add a superb night for Mike Dollar, you get the final 9-1 Wichita Wings. Other scores tonight in the MISL, two finals are in Chicago, a winner at home over Buffalo.
Easy. It's amazing how easy it was after being so tied up in Kansas City a couple weeks ago. Well, the big D. You don't see it too often in the major indoor soccer league, but Wichita exhibited the doom defense against Kansas City tonight and just ripped the Comets 9-1. They jumped out in front 3-0 in the first half. The third goal coming on this drive from John Cutbush, his third of the season. Mike Dollar was just fantastic, making some great saves in the first half as Wichita cleared a man advantage. Watch this stop as he barely deflects it wide. It was 3-0 going into the second half. Andy Chapman scores his second goal of the night to make it 4-0. Per Runfed had a tremendous game, and he scores his 13th of the season there to make it 5-0 in the third quarter. In the fourth period, it was a man advantage for the Wings, and Omar Gomez responds with his 32nd goal and second of the game, and that makes it 6-0. More scoring in the fourth quarter. Jeff Bourne continues his string. That one rolls in 13 straight games. Now Bourne has gotten a goal. It was 7-0. With just 2:11 left, Chapman is stopped, but Frank Rasmussen makes it 8-0. Unfortunately, Dollar couldn't keep the shutout. Greg Mikowski blasted that one in with just 2 minutes to go, but Chapman got the revenge goal here with the hat trick, his 5th of the season, 40th of the season also, and it was a 9-1 final.
Just a great effort. I mean, it's very hard to pick a star, and it's very hard not to say something about Mike Dollar, but the pair of Rumfords of the world tonight were just, you know, best game of the year as far as I'm concerned.
The final score again, Wichita 9, Kansas City 1, and now the Wings still in fourth place, but just a half game behind St. Louis, 1 game behind Kansas City in the Western Division. Golden Bay, as Jungle and Popovich return to New York, beat the Arrows tonight 7-6. In Chicago, the Sting were in action against Buffalo and broke it open in the fourth quarter. Mark Simonton gets the easy one there, does a little somersault, and it's 3-1, the Sting on top. Then coming out of the penalty box, Rudy Glenn springs behind everybody, makes it 4-1. And the great one, Pato Marhetic, comes up with the easy goal off the ball off the post, made it 5-1. The final, Chicago over Buffalo, 6-1 tonight. One other game going on. It's Baltimore and Los Angeles 3-3 at.
Last 4 games, and one of the guys responsible for the recent surge is goalie Mike Dollar. The Wings keeper had a goals against average in the past week of 1.33, letting in only 4 goals in the past 3 contests. Mike has lowered his season average to 4.92. And for his effort, Dollar has been named the MISL Star Player of the Week. Mike will lead the Wings defense against Steve Jungle and the Golden Bay Earthquakes this Wednesday night at the Kansas Coliseum. Wichita Arrows lost
4 goals over the last 3 games. He's been a real wall for the Wings of late. Mike's been named the MISL's Star of the Week. Finally, they wrapped up the rain delay.
Goalkeeper Mike Dollar as its Player of the Week. No surprise there. Dollar surrendered only 1 goal each to Kansas City and Baltimore last week and held the Arrows to just 2 yesterday. Vida Blue turned in his in the MISL after the Wings suffered through Joe Matchnick's bending of the rules in the Arrows game Sunday. You can no longer warm up a goalkeeper without actually making a change, which he did in order to get a timeout, and you're only allowed one warm-up during the game. It's good to see the league's interest in the welfare of the game. Also, Jurgen Christensen, who just reached the 200-point barrier, is doubtful for tomorrow night's game with Golden Bay. Let's go to the Sports Stumper now.
For an encore, they are certainly very, very hot right now.
Hottest team in the league right now.
Yeah, they really are. Them and San Diego, and they're going to collide on Saturday. That should be interesting. Well, the Wichita Wings closed out their 6-game homestand on a high note tonight at the Kansas Coliseum by beating the Golden Bay Earthquakes by a final score of 7-3. At first, it didn't look that way. Jan Goosens took the pass from Steve Jungle, made it 1-0 Quakes in the first quarter. But Andy Chapman tied the score a few moments later with some great perseverance. Andy's 42nd goal of the year. Jungle gave Golden Bay their last lead in the second quarter. He takes a pass off the boards from Godfrey Ingram to make it 2-1. But then the Wings rolled. Andy Chapman tied the score in this great turnaround with just 17 seconds to the intermission. Norman Piper gave Wichita a lead they would never relinquish with that blast to the upper corner. From here on in, Jeff Bourne takes over. Omar Gomez with a great pass to Borney for goal number 1 and the 4-2 lead. This time, Borney takes matters into his own hands with the long rush for his second of the night and the 5-2 lead. Well, Jeff uses his partner Omar Gomez again on this hat-trick goal to give the Wings a 6-2 lead. But wait, Bourne again for his 4th goal, this one on the man advantage. Wichita went on to win 7-3, and quite a birthday present for Coach Roy Turner. Wings have now won 5 straight, head to the West Coast in second behind San Diego. They'll meet the Sockers this Saturday in a game you can see right here on KSN. In the Big Apple tonight, New York beat Baltimore 6-2, and they can thank Joe Ulrich for the victory. This goal by Joe gave New York a 2-1 lead, and Ulrich wasn't stopped there. Joe scored his second of the night after taking the pass from Val Tuksha, and the Arrows shoot down the blast 6-2. Out on the West Coast, Los Angeles leads St. Louis 3-2 in the second quarter. Former wing Don Tobin has a goal for the Lasers. The National Invitational
Quakes drawing first blood. Jungle on the pretty assist to Youngison, who beats Mike Dollar 1-0 Golden Bay early on. But later in the first, the Wings tied it up. It will be Andy Chapman moving in. He'll take it unassisted, adding to his single-season scoring record. 1-1 soccer game at the end of the first. Second period now, who else? The Lord of all indoors, Steve Jungle. What else on the follow? How many of those have you seen? Quakes lead again 2-1, but again, Chapman pulls the Wings even with just 17 seconds left in the half. Wings blew it open in the second half. 4 goals in that second half for Jeff Bourne. They win it 7-3. Other action tonight in the MISL. New York has defeated the Blast 6-2.
Now, nice way to go on the road, that's for sure. After a flat first half, Wichita exploded in the third quarter. Jeff Bourne got a hat trick during those 15 minutes, and the Wings won their 5th straight, 7-3 tonight over Golden Bay. In the first quarter, a give and go, actually, from the Golden Bay player results in Andy Chapman's goal, and it's 1-1. Then in the second quarter, it's Steve Jungle, and the ball off the board. He beats Mike Dollar. That's 64 goals this year for Jungle, and Golden Bay was up 2-1. But Chapman tied it late in the first half. Watch this pretty spin and shot. He's got 43 this season. That was from Kim Runfed getting the assist. It was 2-2. Headed into the second half, Kim Runfed gets another assist as Norman Piper blasts it into the far corner, and it's 3-2. Wichita is rolling. Now time for the Jeff Bourne show. From Omar Gomez, Bourne settles and puts it in. It's 4-2. On the next one, it was Terry Nickel who got the assist, but Bourne did a lot of the work and left puts it in. It's 5-2. Gomez got his second assist of the night here on this play as he feeds Jeff for another goal. The hat trick coming within 5 minutes and 29 seconds, the fastest in Wings history. It's 6-2 going to the final period, and then it's Bourne again with the little tip in his 4th goal of the night, 39th on the season. Golden Bay had a late score. Wichita wins it 7-3. They're 23-17 and 3 games within first place San Diego. There was other action in the Missile tonight, and it was an American show in New York for the Arrows. Watch here, Joe Ulrich in the second quarter, his first professional goal. New York leads Baltimore Baltimore 2-1 later in the second quarter. It's Ulrich again with the drive through the defender's legs. It's 3-1 New York at this point, and they go on to beat struggling Baltimore tonight 6-2. One other game in the MISL, that's on the West Coast in the second quarter. St. Louis and Los Angeles tied at 2.